I suspect in a few minutes we're going to depart from this church and we're going to Wall Street. We're going across the Brooklyn Bridge and we're not going on the walkway. We intend to go as we've always gone, where the cars walk and ride. We have made it a tradition in the confrontation with injustice. We've always gone across the bridge. There's something symbolic and significant, important about the bridge, whether it's at Selma, which was a historic development in our struggle, or whether it's the Brooklyn Bridge, where we have met on occasion and been brutally beaten. So this time, if we so decide, we will go as we have gone in times past and gone. And then we're going to Wall Street and we're going to hold the rally there. Now, the question is asked, why Wall Street? And to understand Wall Street, we need to first put it in its historical perspective. Wall Street is where they sold our mothers and fathers, you know. Oh yeah, the American wealth, to no small extent, is built upon slave labor.
Right on.
And this is why we say to people who accuse us of wanting welfare, well, just give us about 50 years of slave labor and you can give the welfare back to the big corporations. Just give us some of the money that our forebears earned for this country. After all, when you speak of reparations, other people have received reparation.
Right on.
And it is in the order of things, and it is just and right that if a people work and labor, that they should be paid. So we're going to Wall Street, number one, because that is where the slave market was. We're going to Wall Street, number two, because we want to underscore the abysmal gap between affluence in this country, wealth in this country on the one hand, and poverty on the other. As we march, there will be some of us who haven't had permanent employment for years. And yet, we are going to an area in this city where people make $1 million a year without fringe benefit. I didn't even include fringe benefit. So we're going to Wall Street to underscore that abysmal, that appalling gap, to underscore the economic situation in this country. We're going to Wall Street because, number three, Dr. King, in his last effort, was concentrating upon the poverty of this nation. And he was planning to go to Washington this time, not to stay for a moment, as we did in 1963, when we came in with our credit cards and left before sundown. Not to go and stay for a moment, make beautiful speeches, but to go and to stay until the country had seriously addressed the situation of poverty in this country. He was planning to stay until the country had come to grips with what he had come to call a radical redistribution of economic and political power. So we're going to Wall Street, number four, because this is the season of, how shall I put it, lessening of enthusiasm with respect to buying. How shall I put it? A lack of patronage in certain business quarters. How shall I put it? Just plain old boycott. This is the season of boycotts. This is the season when our minds are fixed upon boycott, money, economic situation. And in this regard, as a reaction to that horrendous crime in Howard Beach in which Michael Griffin was killed, the people, not a particular leader, not several leaders, but the people sent up an irresistible cry that we had to respond en masse. And toward that end, they came upon an economic boycott. Somebody had studied our history and had discovered that that had been one of the most effective tactics that we've ever employed, the boycott. It's effective because it doesn't require that anybody does anything. I mean, you can participate and not do anything. Just don't do anything. That's all, just don't do anything. You know the story that came out of Montgomery, that one of the persons who worked in the home of one of the white persons. And this white person was trying to intimidate her and was saying to her, "You're not going to participate in that bus boycott, are you?" And she said, "No, I'm certainly not. I've told my children and all my friends to just stay off these buses until you white folks get this business straight." So we saying to all of our people, just stay out of the way until the leaders get this business straight. Just don't participate. Grandmothers, grandfathers, children, everybody can participate in a boycott. And we think it's right and proper to do this. Now, I know that the mayor has had serious problems with it, but those who are in the seat of power have serious problems with any sincere effort at rearrangement of power. There's no nice, neat way that you rearrange power. Mary Douglas, you remember, said it a long time ago, that without struggle, there is no sense in talking about power. Those who won't change and will not struggle for it, will not agitate for it, they're like people who want the roar of the ocean, the sound of the ocean without the mighty roar of its waters. They're like people who want the crops without digging up the soil. And so we say to the city leaders is that in the light of the horrendous crime visited upon Michael Griffith, in the light of all that we've gone through in this city and across this nation, in the light of all of that which we have experienced, to call for one day, now I want you to underscore that, a one-day solidarity in remembrance of Michael Griffith, in which African Americans and Caribbean Americans get together and say, we want to turn back within our own souls and plumb the depth of our own genius and our own abilities. And we want to focus upon those institutions that we have managed somehow to build. What's wrong with that? Nothing at all. I think the mayor should commend the responsible leaders for taking this avenue to express their legitimate discontent. There could have been more serious ways of expressing discontent. Come on and share with us. We dream some, those of us who can dream, remember a nightmare of Michael Griffith. On the one side, Dr. King dreams for all America, but on the other side, Michael Griffith reminds us of the nightmare of America. Michael Griffith reminds us of the racism that prevails in this country. Michael Griffith reminds us of the economic disparities in this country. Michael Griffith reminds us, again, of the lack of mobility we have in this country. That though we have fought legal segregation, which they tried to box us out, lock us out, circumscribe us, that was the legal segregation a few years ago. And yet we still have in the United States at this late day in history, 1985, 87, neighborhoods that are still saying, nigger, stay out. Neighborhoods, communities such as Atlanta, where over 400 people can gather with their little children, screaming, niggers, stay out, in 1987. But we're not going to stay out. We're not going to stay out because we built the country. And that word ought to go across America in neon signs. There's a mistaken notion, and perhaps in some instances it's innocent. But America should know, those whites in Howard Beach and Atlanta and across this country should know that we built this country. Slave labor built this country. American capitalism was built upon slave labor. That's how the wealth came. And while we were building the country, while we were working the soil, while we were building the country, other ethnic groups were getting land grants, subsidies, special consideration. Now these people tell us at this late day, pull yourself up by your bootstrap the way we did. Nobody pulled themselves up by their bootstrap in this country. Everybody got a break in this country but us. Not only that, but when we moved into the so-called industrial revolution, do you think that at last the country would say, since you labored and
Sisters and brothers, this is Reverend Ben Chavis speaking. I'm going to be very brief, for it's time to march. We have come here from across the city of New York City to protest the racist violence perpetrated on our people. We have come here today to say that we will not take it any longer. We have come here today to say to end Koch. We have come here today to say to Ronald Reagan. We have come here today to say to Como. We have come here to say to all evil oppressors, you will not turn us around. You will not turn us around. You will not turn us around. We have some chance that the students have collectively decided as we march down the street in unity and in a militant fashion. Back the racist attacks. What do we want? Justice. 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 When do we want it? Justice. When do we want it? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Justice. When do we want it? Justice. The students should line up. We're going to lead the march. The lead banner should be out in front. Protest racism. We're here to protest violence against our people. And we've come together. They tried everything to keep this march from happening. They tried to tell us on the TV, they tried to tell us in the newspapers, they tried to tell us on the radios not to come and march. But I thank God African people know what to do at the right time. We're now getting ready to prepare to leave. Keep in mind the seriousness of this day. In the name of Michael Griffin, keep in mind the seriousness of this day. In the name of Willie Turks, keep in mind the seriousness of this day. In the name of Michael Stewart, keep in mind the seriousness of this day. In the name of Elmer Bumpers, keep in mind the seriousness of this day. In the name of all African people who have shed their blood that we may be free, keep in mind the seriousness of this day.
Front line, circle the truck. Front line, circle the truck. Circle the truck, hold hands, use the axe handles to hold you together. Circle the entire truck. Right. Okay. Move on both sides of the truck, brothers and sisters. The press is going to have to move out the way. The press is going to have to open up and let the people through. Both sides of the truck. Keith, take them all the way down, all the way down. On the other side, take them all the way around. Around the truck. Around the truck, all the way down to the end of the streets. The press is going to have to move to the side. To the side. Lead them to the side. RT, lead them all the way around, all the way down to the end. Keep, move to the left, the masses. Move to the left, around the truck. Move to the left, around the truck. Move to the right, to the right, to the right. Move to the right. All the way down to the end of the block. Move to the right, all the way down to the end of the block. No. This way, all the way down, all the way down. No, down. All the way down, down. Right here. Yeah, all the way down. All the way down to the end of the block. Move, keep moving down. Move to us, in front of our security with the red flags. Move to the front where our security with the red flags. Look for the red flags on your left. All the way down. All the way down. Keep moving, all the way down. Make sure you tighten this up. Nobody comes through y'all's ranks. Down. Keep moving all the way down. You'll be able to hear to the end of the block. Keep moving. All the way down, all the way down, all the way down. We have to put everybody on the block. So please, keep moving.
we said as we came down this way, to let this entire neighborhood know exactly how we feel. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? PBA, KKK, ain't no justice in the USA. 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 We're gonna beat back the racist attack. 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 What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Patch Cuomo, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Patch Cuomo, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. Patch Cuomo, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people!
Brothers and sisters, let me have your attention. It's very important. This is a security matter. We are surrounded on all sides by the enemy. Listen, it is important that we finish what we came here to do. And you've got to understand, we do not want any contradictions in the crowd. We want to observe the security, and I want all security to be between the pigs and the people, and under no circumstances let there be any contradictions on both ends. One other thing, we are going to disperse. We're going to disperse moving down this street to the park. We are not going to disperse wildly like animals. We're going to disperse moving down. Joe Lewis, please come to the stage.
We are ready to start the program. We've come a mighty long way for a very important person. We're asking for everybody's attention. We're asking for everybody. Brothers, we're never going to, it's very important to understand how we got here. The idea, the vision for this march came from some very young, dedicated, committed sisters and brothers. I'm going to introduce to you the sister who's going to be the MC for the program. Her name is Sister Lisa Crooms. She's a representative of the National African Youth Student Alliance. Sister Lisa Crooms. Lisa.
Brothers and sisters, on behalf of the National African Youth Student Alliance, along with the numerous community organizations that are truly representative of our community, the African community, I'd like to welcome and thank you all for coming out on this cold January night. First things first, we'd like to thank Rock Against Racism for the sound equipment here. We'd also like to thank the All People's Congress for making the lead banner for the march. With a group of young, I do believe they're brothers and sisters. Oh, young brothers, excuse me. From the New African Peoples Organization. They're a group of rappers, and I'd like them to come up on stage right now so they can give us a little cultural presentation.
World, in every city, in every state, we here for the Racist Mayor Concert Day to talk about Michael Griffin and Howard Beach. Howard Beach, Howard Beach.
There's something here to teach. Each city has a place that's quite the same, even though it might go by a different name.
Howard Beach.
There to teach. It was Saturday night in late December. And here's a tale we will all remember. A sleepy white child gets the wake-up call. Trouble has come and the blacks will fall. People are here. There is a piece of water. White faces often closet in horror. How did they know they had to fight to leave town? Looking for a phone before they call it broke down. Chicks were all white. How did they know they had to fight to leave town?
Howard Beach,
Howard Beach,
Howard Beach.
something here to teach.
Cover up, it's not the game. Excuses are never the name. Terroristic go and get a slap on the wrist. That's how it goes in the whole of the city. And that's me the boys who got studied system. They ain't racism.
Howard Beach, there's something here to teach.
Peace of the world, people said it's good. Shooting out people, the reason at all. A cop shot against red eagle on the wall. Savage peace, I'm always in the machine. Shooting black kids and they only complete America. Huh? Is it the letters of free? What does this mean? Someone please tell me that. People that is too very sick. They kill killers, kill those racist red snakes out. From the descendants for under attack. Cause stop on your back was like junkies on crab sauce. When it's killing and cooking down. Fight for your lives of this way you know how. Wake up, 4 o'clock inside strategy. Controversy that is shut to the highest degree. Because the night was dead and divided with 4. And the big will pay for all the pain they call the free land. So we to behold.
Race and pride heritage.
And unbound strength.
Yo, switch to the tradition.
Almighty proud faith.
When there came darkness,
Supporting the land.
bringing war, bringing strife.
In the form of a man.
He sailed across the sea.
To conquer and rule.
What took control of our nation?
Use the people that knew for
Free the land.
It was to be used as slaves.
And the people even
I
fought.
went to watery graves.
Struck in their bodies.
Took muscle and
They
brain.
only knowledge and resistance.
Couldn't break off the chains.
The struggle has been raging.
For oh so long.
Warriors proud and many.
Were fit and strong.
The leaders were the chosen.
And they stood tall.
Champion back the
And
process.
overshooting the cause to
Free the land. Self-determination.
get a battle try.
Free to rule themselves.
Not a pie in the sky.
A nation was
A
established.
society.
They live with themselves.
No longer is separate.
The oppressor said never.
They were meant to be
Peace of things for the
We
labor.
continue to feed.
Old master said and
To
plotted.
destroy their
I
dreams.
said Calvin got a lackey.
Just carry out the scheme of
Free the land. Welcome to the present.
And nothing has changed.
People thinking
And
backwards.
still action don't range.
Struggle must
We
continue.
got to get up and fight.
Our nation steady
A
suffering.
devaluation in life.
A self-destruction is the weather to continue on. That's the type of way to reform misdirection. Sisters and brothers will definitely fighting in the beat. Terrorism and the pride. Human rights. We're colonized people in the north. Understood. Our goal is liberation, freedom, and victory. So join these soldiers.
Don't worry about jail.
Brother, sister, got your back.
And the brother got your bell. Fight for the government and jail. Other life is freedom. Other life is jail. Some brothers out fighting. You can never go wrong. Tell the struggle for our freedom goes forever strong.
A free the land.
New student line assistant from right here in New York. Her name is Taisha Juana. Let's hear it for
Greetings, brother and sister. Assalamu alaikum to the brothers of the nation. We're here today to struggle for the revolution.
Take your time, sister.
We just left the Martinique Hotel, where they say people live in luxury. I lived there myself a couple of months ago. I know ain't no type of luxury in there. They got paint falling off the walls, bricks in the lobby so little babies can fall and hurt themselves. And the man saying, well, we're doing the best we can. That's not the best. I mean, how many of us live like this? Not many, I'm sure. I know I don't.
Speak on it.
Anyway, this Howard Beach killers and all this racism, they say we started it. I don't think so. Right now, Mayor Cox, you probably somewhere around here listening. I don't know why you're hiding, because this ain't the end of it. We'll march to the end of the world if we have to. Freedom. Don't give us nothing out here. We gotta keep on marching. We gotta keep on struggling to get freedom for our people. Freedom land. You know what they doing right now? Standing on the corner and hollering. That's all they doing. But see, they don't realize they ain't gonna get no.
Ignored. Oh, excuse me, I mean Mayor Cox. I get the two confused for obvious reasons. But we are here to send a strong message to all that we will not accept any more 1960 incidents or views of how to treat Africans. Their time for playing games is up. We can finally answer the question Richard Pryor put forth in his record or his album Bicentennial Nigger, in which he asks, how long will this bullshit go on? I say it ends now! You ask me, how do we go about changing our conditions? How do we make it known that the African race is a race to be reckoned with? Let me ask you some questions. How many of you here between the ages of 13 and 30? Please raise your hand. Look at that. Now, of that, how many of you here don't belong to an organization? Raise your hand. Those that have their hands up. You cannot be totally effective as an individual. We need to make the youth see, first, the problem. Second, the cause of the problem. And third, the solution. Then show them by a unified struggle they can eliminate the problem by implementing the solution. Through an organized and unified move, led by strong, intelligent leaders, followed by educated masses, we can crush this vermin and others like him who just for publicity or political help stand with us
and then decide with their house Negroes to stand and lead us. We will not accept it. To the powers that be, you have some angry Africans on your hands. And this is the very thing they fear. They kill us every day, either chemically or mechanically, either with the drug or with their hand, either contaminating our minds in their so-called educational system, or sucking the blood out of our communities. Brothers and sisters, you should get mad! And I leave you with this. And I address this to you and our enemies. African people birthed the world into civilization. And if we have to, Africans will take it out!
Our struggle goes beyond Harriet Beach. Our struggle is with an attitude, which is based on hatred, supremacy, and history. This attitude presides in the code of law, governs our government, teaches our children, establishes our budgets, develops our policies. This same attitude, in 1644, in the state of New York, enacted into law the half-freedom status for black people in New York. Under the half-freedom status, brothers and sisters, a black slave was enabled to enjoy total and full personal rights and liberty and freedom as a person, as like white people did. If he or she were able to pay an annual tax and willing to perform a specific amount of needed labor, what price are people paying for freedom now? Eleanor Bumpers paid with her life trying to secure shelter. Willie Turks paid with his life trying to earn an honest living. Michael Stewart and Michael Griffin paid with their lives trying to travel freely. There are many more. We'll be here all night, brothers and sisters. Our children are paying with their minds, which are being destroyed and miseducated by the Board of Education. A system supposedly not separate. Beach, it goes beyond Harriet Beach. What I'm talking about is a systemic racism. Remember, brothers and sisters, that Eleanor Bumpers died in the midst of an eviction. We must look at the homeless situation, and that is racism. We must not look down on the homeless, but we must look at the homeless like they're ours. We must look at the brothers and sisters who are incarcerated. What the
Y'all move let me deal with it. Right down front, security, down front on my right flank. Move them out of here. Get them out. Get them out right now. Move them. Everything is under control. We have a small contradiction. We got it. Get them out of here. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, don't worry about anything. We got everything under control. Sometimes you have provocateurs among us. And as you know, we have a large crowd out here today. Therefore, we must keep order. And anytime we have provocateurs, we must deal with them accordingly. All right, so we're going to move the program on and deal with it in the right perspective.
Hello. All right.
Hello, brothers and sisters. How are you? Power to our people. We are here because we are sick and tired. In the voice of Fannie Lou Hamer, we are tired of being sick and tired of the murder of our people, of the rape of our culture and our history, of the degradation of our communities. We are sick and tired. Serious Business wants you to join us in singing these songs of freedom that we brought to you today. The first song we want you to help us with is called Old Glory Story. At the end, we want you to join us telling Koch that we're going to dry our eyes, take a stand, because struggle will ease our pain. Join us on that chorus, please, brothers and sisters. Can we have some volume on this one right here? We're getting the technical end together.
That over there? No, I was actually here with that.
Hello. Yeah.
Sit down and let me tell my story. Sit down and listen to my song. Sit down and let me tell my story. How repression under glory. Don't tell me about the red, white, and blue. What's it ever done for me and you? Don't tell me about the Bill of Rights. What about the crosses burning in the night?
Howard Beach.
This is a story about a sister. Eleanor Bumpus was her name. This is a story about a murder and the people filled with rage. This is a story about Miami
And Howard Beach.
young black men who lost their lives. This is a story for their families, their children, and their wives. This is a story for every promise, for broken promise that's been made. This is a story for every life that's been taken away. This is a story about a people fighting against the Klan. This is a story about a people united to take a stand. This is a story serving notice that these murderers cannot hide. This is a story giving warning that they'll pay for their crimes. When you think about the children whose lives have been taken away, when you think about the martyrs who have been slain,
Sing with us.
dry your eyes, take a stand, struggle raise your pain. Dry your eyes, take a stand, struggle raise your pain. Dry
justice. In this land of the free, this home of the brave, filled with the blood of Indians on the backs of African slaves. This home of democracy, glorious land of liberty. Some say the streets are paved with gold, opportunities are many. But the road is alive in the way. Segregation, segregation is alive and living. Ain't no justice, ain't no justice, ain't no justice. The struggle going on is a warning for the storm. It's a fight for freedom where slavery was born. We can't live how we please. They want us on our knees. In the state of Alabama, democracy's a sham. Jim Crow is alive in the world. Segregation, segregation is alive. Ain't no justice, ain't no justice, ain't no justice, ain't no justice. Up north in Howard Beach, a new lynching town. News of our oppression spreading all around. Politicians and the mayor cover up the crime. For so many of our people always die. For Jim Crow is alive in the way. I hope you hear me now. Segregation is alive. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice. The struggle going on is a warning for the storm. It's a fight for freedom where slavery was born. You can't live how you please. They want you on your knees. All over this racist land, democracy's a sham. Jim Crow is alive and waiting. Sing it with us. Segregation is alive and waiting. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice. Ain't no justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Thank you, brothers and sisters. I just want to make an announcement. This evening, WLIP and Mega Evidence will have a rap. There's a sister who's been working hard in Queens. And her name is Viola Plummer. And she works with the Queens contingent. And let's give her on with a well-deserved round of applause. Viola Plummer.
We want to talk together this evening. I don't want to yell to have you hear me. Because I think it's much too serious why we came down here this evening. I came to talk to those young black men and women who today, January 21st, 1987, has given birth to a brand new mood among the masses of black people. I want us to understand that what is happening here tonight, brothers and sisters, is the rebirth of a people determined to be free. Brothers and sisters, when that that contract will be destroyed because the hundreds of thousands of young black men and women who this day have said we have a new birth is going to destroy. Brothers and sisters, let us be crystal clear what your presence here tonight represents. Let us be clear that this is the advent. This is the rebirth of Harriet Tubman, of Nat Turner, of Sojourner Truth, of Martin Luther King, of Malcolm X, of Sekou Odinga, of Asala Shakur, of Batulu Shakur, and the hundreds of thousands of black men and women who languish in prisons, you see, because they knew you would be here tonight. Brothers and sisters, if I could express to you the feeling and the energy and the determination that I get from seeing all of you, we could write 10,000 encyclopedias and leave them for our young. But 1887 OVER. Black people, hear me. Harriet Tubman, many years ago, told us, for us, for black people oppressed in this country, there are only two choices: freedom or death.
All right, notice to all is the taken. I don't care who you are. You could be Uncle Dave Dickens, Uncle Ben, or whoever you want to be. But young black people today is standing up strong for the cause of uplifting our people. So these young brothers and sisters that you're about to hear, they're fearless. And that's what we need, a fearless group of young brothers and sisters who are about the business of taking care of business. So without further delay, let us bring on Nikki Lee, who's a part of NASA and who's also from UCLA in California. Let's bring on with a well-deserved round of applause.
Thank you. I know it's cold, like it is, you can stand it. I'm from Los Angeles, so I know it's not too cold for you. I have a quick comment. I feel compelled to mention that we must always remain mindful of the severe political and oppressive ramifications that our black leaders who refuse to espouse the white man's bankrupt ideas on democracy and justice face when putting themselves on a platform such as this. History shows us that the government will go to any length to keep us from talking to you and speaking the truth to you. So consequently, they incarcerate us or even kill us when they can't shut us up. So I hope that if anything should happen tonight, that you will stick with us and continue to support the cause. Power be to America, and what we need is self-defense. Justice, or basically said, is America is a racist country. We did not come here by way of the Statue of Liberty. We did not come here by some great migration of economic opportunity. African people were brought here to America to do all the shit work for the white man.
Run it, run it, run it.
Period.
Run it.
Okay, some of you may argue about, okay, we had the Civil War. And isn't it true that old Abe Lincoln gave us our freedom? Is that to be one of the biggest lies that America has ever given the world? How does the enemy give freedom to a people?
Run it, sis.
Freedom can only be gained on the battlefield waged by the oppressed people themselves. And do they expect us to believe that a bunch of white boys fought a bloody war for 4 years to save a bunch of black people? No, I don't buy it. And please define what that freedom was, because if we look at where we started the march, the Martinique Hotel, the African people trapped in that hotel don't look like they're experiencing that basic American dream that this country so boldly professes that every citizen has an equal chance of achieving. Okay, so then we may say that is true, but what about the civil rights movement? Isn't it in the 60s? Didn't civil rights give us our freedom? By the way, this is after the 50 or 60 years of Jim Crow legislation, separate but unequal facilities, unwarranted and brutal beatings, countless numbers of lynching. Then we must ask if anything changed in 1987. In Georgia, 3 or 4 days ago, a march remembering Dr. Martin Luther King, the marchers were attacked by a bunch of racist white boys throwing rocks and bottles with Confederate flags. They were saying, niggas go home. Does that sound familiar? They told us in Howard Beach, niggas go home. In Los Angeles, where I'm from, and every other major city in this country, police brutality, the new form of lynching in America, are killing brothers and sisters every day. Believe me, we have had our Michael Griffith. The story is the same. And the much disgusting form of racism, which nobody wants to talk about, is manifested in the Martinique Hotel and other places like it, is that of economic racism. They are forced to live in conditions of such as a plantation, complete with the white slave master that owns the hotel. Playing the Nazis, black folks ain't gonna play the Jews. Power to the people.
I'm talking about strong black voices. I'm not talking about no weak people. We need us to fight this wicked, diabolical, malicious-minded beast. I mean, how dare he? Our time has definitely come. So without further delay, I'm hot now. How you feel? You all right? You ready? Are you sure? Hey, this is the last time. Ain't gonna be no next time. Cause next time we gonna send them home with their head in the bag. No next time. So without further delay, I'm gonna bring to you my brother, a good brother, a brother from the Nation of Islam, Brother Eric Tuet, a hard-working brother. Let's bring him on with a well-deserved round of applause. All right.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and I forever thank Allah and His messenger for leaving us a constant comfort and divine reminder, and our brother and minister Louis Farrakhan Muhammad. Praise be to Allah. We reached a time in history like no other time, and America knows it, and the world knows it, but do you as black people, do we know it? Do you know there's never been a time in our history where the youth now has taken charge, the people have taken charge of our own history and our own destiny and our own concerns. White folks have made laboratory leaders for us too long. They always found a way to get in their laboratories and concoct a black leader for you and me. They always found a way to find one to be appealing to you, sympathetic to you, and more bent on their concerns. They always been able to give one to you who will save masses, masses, and more masses, but the masses will stay down, 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 and their leader keeps going up, up, up. That day is over with, brothers and sisters. on handkerchief head, boot licking, knees shuffling, foot stomping, scratching with your don't-itch, Negro leadership. Is that right? All praises to the Lord. The laboratory leadership is over. When we say power to the people, we mean it today in 87. You have on this rostrum here today brothers and sisters of youth and vigor who are here from the loins of those that came before us, who are produced through the wombs that prayed for a change. Well, the change is here, black woman. Your babies are standing up, looking out for the babies that are to come. Freedom is in our hands. We don't ask for it. We don't demand it. We take our freedom. You have a rostrum full of accountability. We're willing to be accountable for the stand we're taking today. We're not made by Cuomo, Koch, Reagan, or any of those that come before us. We're not divided behind which way the masses of the people are going. See, they tried to fool us, but they couldn't fool you today. They couldn't make you believe that this incident of Michael Griffith was an isolated incident. They couldn't make you believe that through their lies and their deceit and their murder and their lying, that they would give you justice through this incident. They couldn't make you believe that. They made us believe it with Willie Turks. They made us believe it with Ella Bumpers. They made us believe it with Edmund Perry. They made us believe it with Arthur Miller. They made us believe it with Richard Glover. Well, enough is enough, Mr. Koch. Enough is enough, Mr. Cuomo. White man's law is moving too slow for the black man and woman today. We got to take the justice in our own hands. And you can no longer pass off leaders to us to tell us which way to go, which way to bend, which way to bow, which way to scratch. We are us and we are us to stay. So know, brothers and sisters, that you have a leadership that's represented in Brother Austin Maddox and C. Vernon Nation. Know that you have a leadership that's represented in Sister Lisa Williamson and Sister Nikki Lynn and all those brothers and sisters from NYSA. We're going to wake up all the college campuses. We're going to wake up all the communities. This is the day of the man in the mud. This is the day when we realize that death is sweeter than slavery. All praise to the Duke of Allah. We don't want to keep you long, but we intend to be strong in what we have to say here today.
Do they know what time it is? Do they know that we'll tear this place apart? I don't think so. But they shoot, town no. So without further delay, we got a sister who's from South Africa, who's here working with us. This sister, I'm telling you, she's our we must disagree, but we must never be disagreeable. We must never allow the enemy to come amidst us and destroy our unity. People like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, if they could see us today struggling for the same reasons that they struggled for, would turn in their grave. So let us change the legacy of our brothers and sisters who died before, the legacy of death and the legacy of injustice, to the legacy of freedom and justice for our children. And we should understand that it's not going to come easy. We have to fight and crush the enemy, because that's the only way we can eradicate racism. Thank you, brothers and sisters, and I'm Andra.
All right, how we feel? NASA, and also from Rutgers University. Without further delay, let's bring on Lisa Williamson. Bring on!
Brothers and sisters, I want to ask you, don't leave, because they're bringing more pigs, and we don't want them to outnumber us. Number one, I don't have a speech tonight, but I have a few things that I think that we need to define for one another together while we're here. Number one, we know that this is not the answer. We know that marching and only marching is not the answer. But this is the first step. This time we marched orderly down here. This time we stood outside of Mayor Koch's house. Next time, if there is a next time, we will march
know that I support the rally against what happened in Howard Beach to Michael Griffith and his companions last December. I am being tortured at Rikers Island because I am accused of shooting 6 white police officers who broke into my home and terrorized myself, my wife, and my child. I intend to fight these charges as much as I can, and I hope that many of you will support me in that fight. And Lynn Stewart as my lawyers and trying to force me to take a former assistant district attorney to represent me. Listen, it says tomorrow in the Bronx Supreme Court before Justice Peck at 2 p.m. on the 6th floor, there will be a fight to get me the lawyers I want. Please come if you can. I need you badly if I am to survive what they are doing to me. The courthouse, which is at 161st Street and Grand Concourse in the Bronx, is the same one where Officer Sullivan is being tried for the murder of Eleanor Bumpus, and people who come to support me should go to that courtroom as well. Does that sound like an insane man to you? It sounds like that man has a lot of sense. All right? Now the time again is at 2 p.m. and Justice Heck's courtroom at 161st Street and the Grand Concourse. All right? He needs your support. Your and my support.
When do we want it? Brothers and sisters, I don't know the last time I have seen black folks out here in 20-degree weather. Give yourselves a hand. I've been in New York for 18 years. I told folks when I got out of law school I wanted to go into civil rights, and they told me there was no need for that in New York. I want to tell you here tonight, on January 21st, 1987, I got 3 children. One of them is at Spelman this year, tomorrow. Kalila, who's 8 years old. Vernon Jr., my wife for 20 years, Thelma Mason. And I want to tell you tonight that as a family, we have never been more proud of black folks in New York than we are right now. I don't want to talk long because I think you've heard it all. But what I want to do is to bring on a few people. I want to bring on a brother who has been my constant inspiration since I met him. This brother bring on another brother with him and their family, Cedric Sanderson. And I want to bring on a brother from Newnan, Georgia. They got less people in Newnan, Georgia than are out here tonight. But this brother is not afraid of Ronald Reagan. He's not afraid of Governor Cuomo. He's not afraid of Edward Koch. He's not afraid of Botha. It does not make any difference because when this brother came up to New York City, he said if he wanted to be an Uncle Tom, he could have stayed down in Georgia. I want to bring on Brother Alton Maddox, Cedric Sanderson, Chris Griffith, Karen Griffith, and ask them to come up here and say a few words. But before I leave, let me say this to you. It doesn't matter to us anymore what Benjamin Ward says. It doesn't matter to us anymore. The Post called us Mau Mau's yesterday.
for what any of the white establishment media says, because we know the City Sun, Amsterdam News, WLIB, and all those papers gonna give us news. Night Talk, Wild Law, gonna tell us what's happening nighttime. So they can call us anything. They can call us just like John Lester said at Howard Beach. Let's go kill the niggas. We understand. You don't tell us about this man had no black girlfriend. We understand during slavery time that you did the same thing to our women that John Lester is talking about doing right now. Finally, as I said before, the two brothers who brought us to this point, Cedric Sanderford, who is the father of Michael Griffith, he said, I'm tired of covering up. He said, I was here when Elmer Bumpers was killed. He said, I was here when Michael Stewart was killed. He said, I remember Arthur Miller. I know all of that. And you know what? They thought this was just another incident. The establishment says we're going to prosecute these kids and give them probation, and then the system would have worked. But Cedric Sanderford said, not this time. Not this time. And black folks in New York City said, not this time. Not this time. And you know what? We got a call from Nigeria. We got a call from London. We got a call from Los Angeles. We got a call from all over the world because Howard Beach is known all over the world now because black folks in New York City said, not this time. Not this time. And we're here to serve notice. We're here to serve notice tonight. You can't scare us. You can't intimidate us. You can't get on TV. My young children had to hear this strange man on the television during the Christmas holidays saying that we should be disbarred and arrested because we are trying to seek justice. Some of you may not remember Martin well, but Martin had a word for Uncle Tom's soup. Martin said that Uncle Toms are Negroes who are afraid to stand up and fight. Automatic said he didn't come up here to be an Uncle Tom. And I want to bring this brother, Cedric Sanderford, Christopher Griffith, and Karen Griffith on right now. And I want you to remember why we're here. We're here because they again took one of our young persons. Tony is also here. I want y'all to give these brothers and this sister a tremendous round of applause for what they've done.
Brothers and sisters, I like this kind of meeting. This is my kind of meeting. And these are my kind of people. And the reason why these are my kind of people is because we're all mad. We're all angry. We're all oppressed. But we're not disillusioned. We see very clearly now. I want to first commend the Griffith family and Cedric Sanderford, because this is a most disciplined family. This is a family that is committed to truth. This is a family that is committed to justice and is committed to equality, committed to freedom and committed to liberation. And And that makes my job a lot easier. I have an easy job now, because I'm representing some committed people. It's a different thing when you're representing some disillusioned people. It's a different thing when you're representing some people who bend at the knees. It's a different thing when you represent some people who run at the first sign of danger. I'm not representing those kind of people now. And we're not giving up an inch. We're not giving up 1 inch. And I can tell Charles Hines that our demands are the same as they was on that Friday when we came to that press conference. We will not stop until Dominic Bloom is arrested. We have a new face and a new name, but our demand is the same. We want that entire lynch mob, and we want them now. We want that entire lynch mob, and we want them now. I was very moved by the statement from Larry Davis, because Larry Davis preceded Michael Griffin. And there's some commonality in that. They were both our young men. They were both our young warriors. And one way or the other, the system has tried to destroy both of them. But when Larry Davis shot individuals who broke into his house, and we know what that was all about. We were there, we were not there. But as a people, we know when the police come, how they come. Don't nobody have to tell us that. We can all be a witness. We're all expert witnesses in how the police come to our house. We have reminders of that, of how the police come to our house. They didn't come to Larry Davis' house any different than they came to Eleanor Bumper's house. They didn't come to Larry Davis' house out of respect. They came to his house out of anger. They came to his house out of hatred. They came for him like they came for Edmund Terry. They came for him like they came for Arthur Miller. They came for him like they came for Clifford Glover. And the roll call goes on. We understand that very seriously. We have a reason to be mad. And we have a right to be mad. We have a right to...